All right, so Grandma called me up. She said she's seeing daylight over the front door or under the front door. She needs me to come over and take a look. So I head on over, got some new weather strip, and let's get a new one put in for her. All you need to get this done is just some basic tools, drill or an impact driver. I use a special door pin popper, flathead screwdriver, hammer, and I use some basic general snips just to trim it down so we can get it fit to the size that we need. Here I am, just popping the pins out. We want to get that door nice and free. I want to lay it down on its side. I used that pin popper, got them started, took the flathead screwdriver, got them out the rest of the way. Started in the middle. I think that's easier. Also, always do this with the door closed. It's going to help on the end when you're trying to remove that door so you can get it off. Bottom's always a little tricky. Flip the hammer sideways. You can get the angle that you need. Get those pins out of there. Finish it up. These pins were really dry. They really need to be greased up. So they were a little tricky getting them out. There we go. Got the bottom one out of there. And then we just got that top one left. Again, checking that the door is closed so it doesn't fall or anything happen. This one, the top pin was actually sticking out a little bit. It's got a little stopper on it. Whoever put it in there, I don't know, didn't put the pin in all the way or whatever, but it just popped right out. So it was at a little bit of a weird angle. So let's get that out of there. All right, looks like she's just about free. Okay, pin is out. Now the door is free, so as soon as I open that handle, she's gonna come right out. All right. Now I'm just gonna take this door off. I already set down a moving blanket and drop cloth so I can lay it down without damaging anything. Get it on its side so I can get that strip removed. This one happened to be held in with screws. I've taken some off that are held in with staples. Some wrap around the door and have screws into the door like the one that I'm going to put back on here, which you'll see in a moment. But this one just had some basic Phillips screws in here, a little bit of glue on the bottom, nothing crazy. Some of those screws were a little hidden. Okay. I my uncle happened to be over this day, so he was chatting me up, which is why I needed to do this voiceover. Didn't want you guys to just hear us chat it up. Somebody also painted this door and painted the weather strip to the door. So I just did a quick little cut just to score it, just so when I took that strip off, I didn't take any paint with it. It came off nice and clean. All right, weather strip should be coming off right now. And that's it. Old one is out. All right, so now I'm just test fitting that new one. Really what I want to do is get it lined up. They always come slightly larger typically. Always get a 36-inch one. That's about your standard door. This is the 36. You can see it's, I don't know, maybe about a 1/4 inch too large. I'm laying the door flat, marking it with a pencil. My uncle very much insisted on helping me with this, so he's gonna take it outside and cut it down for me real quick. Now that I got it down to size, I'm just gonna get it started on there. This particular one clamps on really tightly. It squeezes both sides of the door and then gets screwed in. For a cleaner look, I put the screws on the inside. I don't want to screw anything down yet. I want to get that door slab back in place. Make sure I don't have any gaps. Make sure that I have a nice tight seal at the bottom before I go ahead and fasten it in tightly. So I'm going to go ahead and line this back up. There are some things you can do if you have a second pair of hands with this, or I've used little airbags in the past, or little, those DeWalt jacks are really helpful. This wasn't too crazy. popped in nicely. Now I closed it. I had to finagle it a little bit, greased my pins up, and put those pins right back in where you found them. I got them started. Tap them in. Be careful when you guys are doing this. You don't want to scratch the casing or scratch the door, so just take your time. I put that little stopper back on. I put it back on the middle. Whenever I do doors, I always throw it in the middle or the bottom. And I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine. So I threw it back in the middle. Okay. Now got the last one. Nice part about this, if you leave the hinges installed and you don't pull the actual screws out and you just pull the pins, it's not gonna realign the door whatsoever. So when you put those pins back in, that door should line up exactly how it was previously. If you take those screws out, you run the risk of overdriving those screws, and you could tweak the door a little bit. It's gonna unalign it. So here I am, that door weather strip was a tad high on one side, so I dropped it down and made sure it's nice and snug. We're gonna zip those screws in. The steel door, they zipped in pretty easy, nothing crazy. Don't go crazy. They don't need to be tight or crazy tight. Snug them up, should be fine. That weather strip, I got it from Home Depot. It was $7. Fit nice and tight. Screws just kind of hold it in place. The holes that where the screws go are like little ovals too. So if you did want to start it prior to reinstalling the door, you certainly could, and you would be able to still adjust it if the screws weren't tight. But I just adjusted it. It was on there snug, and then threw the screws in when I was had it all lined up how I wanted. All right, that should be the last one. And that's it. She's done. Fixed. No more gap, no more tear, no more drafts coming through. We're all good to go.